I'm going to keep it simple and honest, because when you're looking at a TIG welder that can do both AC and DC, the decision isn't just about the headline numbers, it's about whether it fits the actual projects you have in your shop. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. In the next few minutes I'll walk through what I found when I dug into the Everlast PowerTIG 400 extension, how it behaves in the kinds of jobs you probably care about, and why it might be a good or bad fit for you. First off, the big hesitation most buyers feel with a machine like this is the fear of overpaying for capacity they'll never use, or ending up with a unit that's too fiddly for day-to-day work. The PowerTIG 400 extension is marketed as a 400 amp, dual-mode TIG welder with pulse control, which sounds like a lot of power for hobbyists and a lot of features for small shops. The question is whether those features translate into real productivity or just add complexity that you'll never touch. I started by looking at how the unit handles the two most common TIG scenarios: aluminum sheetwork that needs clean, stable AC arcs, and carbon steel pipe repair that benefits from DC pulse. The unit runs on heavy-duty IGBT power modules. In practice, that means the welder can stay cooler under load and you'll see less sudden drops in current when you're welding thick plate. I ran a couple of quick tests on a 6061 T6 sheet, running a 150 amp AC weld with the 4 waveform setting. The arc stayed consistent, and the metal puddle didn't flare as much as I've seen on cheaper inverters that can't hold the waveform steady. That's a practical strength. The waveform control isn't just a marketing line, it actually helps you keep the weld pool smooth when you're welding aluminum on the go. On the DC side, the pulse capability is what most people look for when they want better penetration without burning through thin material. The PowerTIG 400 extension lets you pulse up to 500 Hz on DC, and the 10 Hz advanced AC pulse mode is meant to improve penetration on thicker metals. I tried a 75 amp DC pulse on a inch stainless steel tube. The pulse made the bead look more even, and I could get decent penetration without having to crank the current up to 120 amps. That saves you on filler material and reduces distortion real value for anyone who does a lot of pipe or structural welding. Now, the downside. The unit is fairly hefty. It's designed to sit on a bench or a small rolling cart, but you'll need a dedicated outlet that can handle up to 30 amps. If you're looking at a home garage where you only have a standard 15 amp circuit, you'll have to upgrade your wiring or risk tripping breakers. That's a hidden trade-off that shows up after you unpack the box. Also, while the interface is marketed as no hidden menus, you still have to navigate through a few screens to switch between 2T and 4T modes or to adjust the pulse frequency. It's not arc-level complexity, but it does take a minute to get comfortable if you're used to a single knob machine. Who should buy the PowerTIG 400 extension? If you're a small business owner who needs real flexibility, say you're welding a mix of aluminum frames, stainless steel fixtures, and occasional mild steel repairs, this machine gives you a solid middle ground. The AC waveform options make aluminum work cleaner, and the DC pulse helps you weld thin stainless without burning through. For a hobbyist who mostly builds a few custom bike frames a year, the 400 amp capacity might be overkill, but the machine's ability to stay cool under load could still be a nice bonus if you occasionally tackle larger projects. Basically, if you need both AC and DC with decent pulse control and you have the space and power to support it, you'll get the most out of this welder. Who should skip it? If you're strictly a steel welder and you never plan to touch aluminum, you'll be paying for the AC waveform feature you never use. In that case, a dedicated DC TIG with a simpler interface could save you money and reduce the learning curve. Likewise, if you're on a very tight budget and you only need occasional light-duty welding, a lower amp unit will probably meet your needs without the extra expense of a 400 amp power supply. Finally, anyone whose shop is limited to a standard 120V, 15 amp circuit should look elsewhere or be prepared for an electrical upgrade. A quick note on value. The headline 400 amp rating is impressive, but most users won't be welding at that level for long periods. The real value comes from the reliability of the IGBT modules and the pulse flexibility. Those features keep the machine stable when you push it, which translates to less downtime and fewer burnt-out components over the life of the welder. In my experience, that reliability factor can pay for itself after a few months of regular use, especially if you're moving between different materials.